your Divas division.
Look whose show you're on, sweetie.
I did it, you bitch.
I think every single diva should be lining up and congratulating me and thanking for everything I've done for them.
You're going to find out why I am the boss.
Kamusta mga kontrabida? Welcome to Turning Heel with Troy Gonzales. I'm your host, yours truly, and we're here with our first ever Who's That Girl interview series episode where I sit down and chat with women in wrestling from all around the world, both inside and outside the ring. So today's guest is a professional wrestler who was inspired by women from my personal favorite time in women's wrestling, the Divas era. Hence, she calls herself the modern day diva, so get ready, kontrabidas. Who's that girl? It's the undeniable Ashley Vega. Hey, Ashley.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, I'm super excited to chat with you today. So, how has your day been? It's currently 2 p.m. in the UK, so what's been going
Yeah,
on?
it is. I mean, UK, freezing cold, horrible weather, but it's fine. It's
We'll
used to
get
it.
to it. Yeah, yeah. In my case, it's been raining the whole day, so yeah, it's rainy season, and although we are close to Christmas, it's still going in down there with the
Yeah.
rain, so you'll have to deal with it. But first of all, first thing I noticed when you joined the call was your hair. So I want to ask real quick, how was the bleaching process like? Because I know like it takes a while.
Yeah, it's been I went through a slow process because I didn't want to completely ruin my hair, but it's been absolutely
Right.
fine. I mean, I've never really dyed my hair really before, so I think that's why it was okay. But yeah, I mean, someone told me on Twitter that I looked like Trish Stratus, and ever since then I've been like,
Right.
I was like, okay, done. I love it.
That
Obsessed.
that's the biggest compliment someone can ever
Literally.
receive.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I'm loving it.
For sure. So, for the sake of the contributas who may not be familiar with your work, kindly introduce yourself to the listeners. Who is Ashley
Uh,
Vega?
yes. So I'm Ashley Vega. I started wrestling when I was 15, so I've been doing it for about 6 years now. Um, yeah, like Troy said, the women that inspired me have all came from the Divas era. I absolutely love Trish, Mickie, Victoria, Michelle McCool, Layla, all that kind of era of
All
divas.
legends.
All legends, all icons. So that's what inspired me to become a wrestler. And I started watching it when I was around 6, 7. So kind of 2007, 2008 was when I got into WWE and absolutely loved it since. And decided to start at the age of 15. And since I was 16, I have been on shows all over the UK. I've wrestled for more than 50 promotions now in the UK.
Wow.
So yeah, that's pretty much my journey so far. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm very honored to have you as my very first interview for the Turning Heel podcast. And as you did say, you were inspired by the Divas era. But when I think of Ashley Vega, the first two wrestlers that I think of immediately are Mickie James and Candice Michelle. So we're going to be
Yes.
talking about Mickie James a little bit later on. So I want to focus on Candice Michelle for now. What is your favorite Candice Michelle moment?
My favorite Candice moment, honestly, was when she won the women's title, because I think so many people hated on like Candice and the Kelly Kellys
Right,
because
right.
they weren't great wrestlers, and they, like, we can't lie and say that they weren't great because they weren't, but she did pull through it, and she proved that
Absolutely.
she was training, that she was doing all this stuff, and then that match with Melina, like, she could wrestle, so she proved everyone wrong, that, and I think that was why I loved that kind of era, because they weren't given a lot of time, but when it came to it and they were given opportunities, they worked hard and they trained and they proved that they could do it. So that's like my favorite Candice moment, because it kind of proved that, yeah, she looks great, but she can also wrestle. So that was why I love her.
Absolutely. You know, the moniker of WWE divas were smart, sexy, and powerful. All at
Yes,
the same time. Not exclusively, but sexy and powerful at the same time. And that was Candice Michelle, for
for
sure.
sure. She embodied everything about that. When she started, she wasn't a great wrestler, but by the end of her career, she was having matches with Beth Phoenix and all these
Yeah.
women, and she was putting on like great like matches. Like she could wrestle and she looked good doing it. So she embodied all of that, all what divas were about.
Absolutely. So, for those of you listening, get ready for a diva-filled episode because we're going to be talking about them the whole time. But yeah, let's segue this episode more onto you now. So, you have mentioned recently on your social medias that you plan on getting back to YouTube, which I'm very excited about. So, on your YouTube channel, you usually play some games, specifically the old school SVR wrestling game franchise, as well as some Bratz games on the PS2, which were really iconic. But now that you're coming back to YouTube, what type of content can we expect from your channel this time around?
Yeah, so I haven't made videos in like maybe like a year, and the I always play games. The game I've been
Right.
playing since I was like really young and still play every day is The Sims, but I've never played that on YouTube. And
Wow.
I got new equipment and things, and I was like, I really want to start YouTube again. And now that I've got more free time, I want to like do it more often. So that's why I got back into it, because I really did enjoy doing it, but I just didn't have the time to edit and make videos all the time, and
Right.
it just wasn't good. But now that I have the time, I want to do that, and I want to play, the games that I've played on the channel before, like the old Diva games. I want to play,
Right.
I've wrote like a list of video ideas.
Really?
I mean, I can read some of them out to you because some of them are like
Sure, sure.
ridiculous.
Go ahead.
Because I was just thinking, I don't want to make videos like everyone else. I want to do stuff that
Of
I enjoy.
course.
Um, so for The Sims, there's loads of Sims challenges, and I want to make
Okay.
like the Total Divas cast in The
Oh
Sims.
Lord. Okay. Which
I thought that'd be
season?
quite fun. Um, and what else have I got? I want to have, yeah, I want to make every wrestler a different room in my Sims build.
Okay.
So every room is themed by a wrestler or a diva. So I just have like crazy ideas like that I want to do because I think I'd enjoy it, and I think people would like
Yeah.
it, especially people who like gaming and wrestling. So that was my idea for coming back.
I'm excited. What specific season of Total Divas are you gonna pattern your show after?
I think I want to do like the first season because it
Ooh,
was
the
so iconic,
OG.
like Rosa Mendez, all those women. I think that would be so fun. But I also want to add like Summer Rae in because I want to have like Summer Rae Natalia feud because
Yes.
there's
Perfect.
nothing more iconic than her slapping Natalia. So
Right.
that's, yeah, pretty much all the iconic divas that were on the show, Eva Marie, everyone.
Right, of
No, I think
course.
everyone on it was amazing. So yeah.
All right. You guys better stay tuned for that YouTube channel because we are going to be staying tuned because we're going to be very excited for that one. But do you plan on having some wrestling vlogs? Because I remember your last video was a compilation of you of clips of wrestling, which was really, really cool. So do you plan on making more of those or is it strictly going to be a gaming channel?
Well, that was my idea, was just to do gaming, but I've been going on like Instagram Live and things like every so often, and everyone says that they want to see those kind of videos, and I do enjoy just like talking rubbish. Um,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think I'd be good down the podcast route, but I'd love to do like little vlogs and me traveling to shows. Because usually when I travel to shows, they're like 5 hours in the car because they're in England and I'm in
Yeah.
Scotland. So it'd be cool to film that, film backstage, maybe film some videos with some of the other wrestlers that are backstage. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was something else I wanted to do aside from the gaming. So I'm thinking about doing things like that as well, for sure.
All right, so it's gonna be a mix of a lot of Ashley Vega content. So you guys better stay
Literally.
tuned. Better stay tuned for that because it's gonna be an exciting, wild ride. All right, so let's talk more about your wrestling journey, specifically your recent work and training. So I've
Hmm.
seen some photos and clips of you on Instagram that you have posted alongside fellow female wrestlers such as Daisy Jenkins and Harmony Sky in a wrestling school called Five Pro Wrestling Asylum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes.
All right. So for those of us who may be unfamiliar, kindly tell us a little about FPWA.
Yeah, so FPWA is Andy Wild's school. Andy Wild has been in NXT UK, etc. So yeah, he's the main coach for the school. And I actually only started there a few months ago, whereas beforehand I was training with Joe Hendry, who's
Yeah.
in Impact now. And I still do train with both of them, but I have now, because I have moved in with my boyfriend, I now stay closer to Andy's school, FPWA. So that's where I've been going. I go there as much as I can. I'm training tonight. I train Thursdays. I help out with coaching on Wednesdays for the junior classes, like the wee wrestlers who are really cute. So I train as much as I can. And Daisy and Harmony were girls that I met not long ago. And they like the amount of work that Daisy puts in is insane. She is like she trains like 4 times a week at times, and
Oh
she does her
wow.
9 to 5 job, and then she's wrestling every single weekend and driving hours in the car. So she has no but she just works so hard. And from when I started, she wasn't, as confident, but now she's like this. She's like off and running. She's on the network now, a part of
She
ICW, and
is.
she's just killing it, and I'm so proud of her. And with Harmony as well, she's wrestling almost all the time. And yeah, it's just good to be, around girls that love it as much as I do and want to work
Right.
as hard. So yeah, it's been great training with FPWA, and there's so many students that are doing well and that are on the network weekly that train there. So yeah, it's just a great skill to be a part of, and Andy's really got something special there.
For sure. And what I really notice about FPWA is the diversity in terms of like characters. So we have yourself, the modern day diva, and we also have characters like someone who I just discovered recently named Lexi Kimbo,
Lexi, I knew
who's
you were going to say
this.
that. Lexi is 15. And
Wow.
yeah, the thing is with Andy, I've never really been to a training school where there is so much diversity. When you come into our training school, there is a big pride flag um,
Oh wow.
on our wall, because Andy just wanted somewhere for everyone to be safe. Um, and there's, you know, I think there's some white male wrestlers, like especially like old school, that were just not about
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and like it's just not on. Like back then, it just wasn't a thing for, openly gay wrestlers or drag queens or
Yeah.
trans wrestlers. And with Andy's school, he really wanted to change that and make everyone feel comfortable. So we've got the big pride flag. We have openly gay trainees. We have Lexi, who's a drag queen, and it's so cool to be a part of it, because it never used to be like that years ago. But now there's just so much diversity, and Andy's been really welcoming and so amazing to everyone that's a part of, the LGBT or any races or any religion.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that a lot in wrestling. And especially in training schools, there's not that much diversity.
Right.
But, I think Andy has such a diverse amount of people because he's so openly okay with, embracing who you are. So yeah, it's like the perfect place to go if you want to train.
Right. It does seem like a very safe space, and the whole idea of Lexi Kimbo interests me so much. Like the whole drag queen and wrestling person. Like these are two like opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to like my personal interests. So to see like Lexi put those two together and create her own character, it's insane. And at 15 years old, like this girl didn't be taking bumps at 15 years old, and I'm here 20, can't even barely make it up the stairs. I'm kidding, you guys. I can, but yeah, I'm really interested to see how all of the trainees in FPWA go. And speaking of FPWA, as a professional wrestler yourself, what are some new things that you've learned after working with FPWA?
Um, I think ever since then my confidence has been better. Um, during COVID, I never wrestled for like 2 years on shows, and
Right.
I wasn't training obviously because of lockdown. So my cardio is a lot better. because it was not great. Things I've learned though, I've just learned to just believe in myself more because there is people that believe in me, and I never really had that before. So having people tell me like, you can do this, you can like there's you put the work in, you just need to believe it yourself. So I think that's the main thing that I've learned training with Andy and training with all those people. There's just so much support, so I believe in myself a lot more, and that's something I've took away, that I just have to believe in myself. And so far it's worked for me, manifestation and all this amazing stuff. So yeah, that's something I've definitely took away the past year.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you have been more confident in your wrestling ability and overall as a person. Because we are rooting for you, myself included. I am rooting for you, and I know you have some big aspirations. And speaking of those aspirations, let's sort of segue the conversation into it. So, you've been very vocal about wanting to wrestle for a promotion by the name of Impact Wrestling. So, is there any update on a possibility of us seeing you wrestle on Impact soon?
I mean, possibly. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know for sure how things are going to go. I was obviously on like some of the cameo appearances for Impact, which was really really cool. Um, but yeah, Impact's always somewhere I wanted to wrestle because it was I watched it more than WWE when I was younger. And I absolutely loved like the beautiful people, Velvet Sky, like
Gosh, for
all the iconic
sure.
knockouts. So it's definitely a goal for me, and I do think it's achievable, um, because I'm just in the mindset of manifesting and working hard
For
and
sure, for
just
sure.
putting it out there so it happens. So it's definitely not something that won't happen. I do think there's a possibility there. And next year, Impact have openly talked about, touring the UK again for the first time in a long
Oh,
time. So it'd be really,
wow.
really cool if, I could get my name out there and, possibly be on there next year. Who knows?
Hopefully. Are you aware of any like upcoming tryouts that Impact Wrestling has?
Well, they did have one in last January, I want to say. Um,
Oh,
and I wasn't too aware of it, but if they do the same again in January, um, I am 100% flying myself out there and doing it, um, because life's just too short, and
for
I just,
sure.
I just want to, whatever way I have to, I'm gonna get myself out there and just, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but I'm just gonna do it. So if
Right.
they do again, I will definitely be there.
Absolutely. And I really hope it does go well, as we will be rooting for you. And you did mention it earlier that you did appear on a skit for Joe Hendry's announcement of his signing with Impact Wrestling, where you acted as sort of like extra this past September, which, by the way, you were acting your eyes out. You were crying tears, golden tears. So, how did this whole like skit come about?
Yeah, so Joe knew about the signing for a while, obviously, and um, I've trained with Joe for a couple years now, with his school in Edinburgh, and yeah, he just asked me if I was free and if I wanted to be a part of it, and I was like, yes, obviously.
Hell yes.
He didn't really tell me the ins and outs, but he was just like, listen, I've got, some videos to film for Impact, and I need some extras. Do you want to do it? And I was like, of course. So it was literally that's how it came about. He was just, the other people in the videos as well are his trainees. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's just a couple of the trainees. He asked if we wanted to do it, and luckily I was one of them because he did need a girl, and yeah, he asked me, which was really really cool. um yeah, and I sent it to Mickie, and she was like, that's amazing that you've
Oh, wow.
made an appearance in Impact. And I was like, yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, that's just kind of how it came about, and it got a lot of people's attention because they were like, is that Ashley Vega? And I was like, yes.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep. I was really surprised when I first saw it. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I recognize this girl crying in this chair. It's very, very familiar. And I was super stoked for you because I knew that this was a step, I would say, a step in the right direction to
Yeah,
achieving your dreams because now that the doors are open. So,
exactly. I think that's
really
why,
perfect.
you know, FC Impact is a lot more achievable now because it's just, I've got my face out there somewhere. So yeah,
Right.
that's how I see it.
All right, all right. I also do want to ask for you to talk more about your relationship with Joe Hendry. How is he as a trainer, and do you still keep in touch with him now that he's in Impact?
Yeah, he actually not long ago, sent us a message about Impact, and he's absolutely loving, he's just loving it, and he's I'm so happy for him. Um, Training with him really, it kind of started just before lockdown hit. I started with Joe, and he was like the first person I ever trained with to be like, you are going to be one of the top women if you keep doing this and training as much as you are, like you're going to be one of the top. And I always remember him saying that to me and being like, holy shit, like someone actually I can be one of the top women in the UK. And
Right.
it was when he said that it clicked. I was like, I know I can do this. And he was just being, like, you just need to put the work in. And that's when it clicked. And I was like, okay, I need to just do this and work as hard as I can. Um, and he's helped so much. He is so giving as a coach. If you put the work in, he will like give you so many opportunities. And he got me, opportunities like to wrestle for Wrestle Carnival, one of the UK promotions. And it was just he's just so helpful, and he's always been there for advice. If I'm like having a mental breakdown and don't know what to do, or I'm confused about something, I'll message him and he'll just talk to me and he'll be amazing. He's a great coach. His training's really great. He's really good at character work, and as you can tell, he's got crazy ideas because he was like, no one can deny how much people can hate you, but they can't deny how hard you work and how well you are and all that kind of stuff. So he was the one that kind of came up with that and helped me become undeniable. So yeah, training with him was amazing. And I still do keep in touch with him and train when I can. But yeah, he's great.
That's really nice to hear. I was really curious as to where the whole undeniable moniker came about because I remember that you only referred to yourself as the modern day diva the last time we had a chat on call, but now that you're undeniable, it's clear to see that he has been such a really great mentor to you and to the all of the other trainees that he's had.
Yeah.
But all right, let's talk. Let's have a super quick comparison with WWE and Impact because WWE has had its fair share of Scottish women's champions in Alba Fire and Nikki Cross. As of today, she is Nikki Cross. But Impact has never had a Scottish Knockouts champion. So, with your
No.
desire to be in Impact, what would it mean to you to have the opportunity of laying claim to possibly being the first Scottish Knockouts champion?
Yeah, it would mean so much to me because, like you said, WWE have had quite a fair share of women's wrestlers from the UK and Scotland. But Impact hasn't really had that many Scottish women and
Right.
never had a Scottish champion. So I never really noticed that they never had a Scottish women's champion until I was like someone mentioned it on Twitter and I was like, really? And I was like on Wiki looking through all the knockouts and whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, there's never been a Scottish woman to have it. So I was like, okay, I want to be the first woman to do that. So if the opportunity does come about for Impact next year, like I am 100% becoming the first Impact women's champion that's going to be from Scotland. It would just mean so much to me to have a title and be the first Scottish woman to do it because there's so many Scottish women's wrestlers. But like you said, there's not been that many in Impact, and
Right.
Impact is just such an amazing company that I've always wanted to work for. So I think winning a belt there and being like the first Scottish born woman to do it, it would just mean like the most to me ever. Like, it would, like, yeah, I mean, that would just be amazing.
Perfect, perfect. Honestly, I do see a vision with you holding the Knockouts title. It does look pretty good. So I'm really, really rooting for you. And you are correct. The Knockouts Championship needs a little bit of Scottish flavor after all. And speaking
True.
of knockouts, I believe that you did get to meet Impact Knockout and women's wrestling legend Mickie James earlier this month. So where and how did this come about?
Yes, so she was wrestling for UK promotion called 1PW, One Pro Wrestling, and it was in Doncaster in the UK, which is about 5 hours from me. And
Oh,
it was me and Daisy Jenkins that
all
decided,
right.
let's just go to a show for as a fan for one time, because we never do that. We never go to independent shows as fans. When you're a
Right.
wrestler, you just don't really do it. And I was like, it would be really cool just to go and see what else there is happening in the independent scene. And obviously they had like Rob Van Dam and they had other bigger wrestlers on the show. So we thought it would be a great one to just go to and have fun. Um, and Daisy was amazing and drove 5 hours there and 5 hours back. So yeah, that was great. And Mickie was obviously on the show. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's just go and try and meet her and
Right.
make it happen. And it did. And I remember like waiting to see her and I just couldn't look at her because this is so cringe, right? But Mickie is literally like the reason why I wrestle. Like, she was one of the first matches
Right.
I ever saw, and ever since seeing her wrestle, I'm like, I want to be a wrestler. So I was literally like, and she's away from her, and I was like, I can't look at her because I feel like I'm going to start crying before I even go and say hi. And Daisy was like trying to calm me down. She was like, "It's fine. She's only a human." And I was like, "I know, but you don't understand." So
Yeah.
I got up, and she immediately comes and hugs me, and she's like, "Hi, Ashley," and she knows who I was straight away. And I was like,
Wow.
"Oh my god, this is crazy." And Nick was there as well, Nick Aldis, and he did a seminar with FPWA, so we got to speak to him and be like, "Oh, it was really cool to have the seminar with you." So he was really nice. And yeah, Mickey was great. She just asked how he was, and she was just like, you know, I don't know. It was just like I already knew who she was, and I think it's because
Right.
we've been kind of talking on socials for a while. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just really nice to finally meet her. And hopefully the next time I meet her, it will be for the match that I want.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And speaking of that, I love that you did bring that up because you've also been very vocal about wanting to wrestle Mickey, one of the women that you looked up to growing up in wrestling in a one-on-one match. So did you let her know about that when you got to meet her?
Yes, I did, and she said, "Well, it has to happen soon," um, because obviously she is, you know, on her last rodeo, as she says,
Right.
um, and she was like, "It has to happen soon," and she messaged me after the show and was like, "If we're wanting this match, we have to do it soon." And I was like, "I am trying my hardest to make this happen." I have been, trying to get dates for companies in Scotland that will have it, and I'm trying really, really hard to make it happen. And I hope it does next year, starting next year. I'm praying. I don't want to say too much,
Yeah.
but I I do think it will happen, and I will probably cry, but I don't care. It will just be like a
It's all
dream come
right.
true. It will be like a dream come true because she was like the woman that got me into it, and the reason I'm
True.
here today. So it would just be like a whole 360 just to actually wrestle the woman that got me to do this.
Right, right. And I know it's gonna be probably the biggest match of your career so far.
Sure.
I'm assuming, so I'm pretty sure you want it to be perfect. So in terms of ring gear, if you had when not if when you get the chance to face off against Mickey one on one, do you have any ideas for ring gear? Do you want to play some mind games and have your gear in paying homage to Mickey, or do you want to go Trish classic
I
rival of
mean,
Mickey?
I've always like thought about this, especially recently. Um, what I want to do, and I've got new gear for the start of next year for, I've got not a whole new look, kind of. I just want to, be different and look different from all the other girls.
Right.
And I think the gear that I'm getting is more me and is something I would wear and is very Ashley Vega and very 2000s. And
Okay.
so, yeah, because I was born in 2000, I want to, embrace that. And it's just very me.
Yeah.
So if I get the chance to wear something, I definitely want to wear something. I mean, I'm not too sure. I would really love, I've not yet, but I would love ring gear inspired by Mickie. And, because I do like, I've had like Candace inspired gear,
Yeah.
Trish inspired gear.
Trish.
So I think to get Mickie one, it would make sense to have that when I get to face her.
For sure.
So we'll see. I've got some ideas, but I don't know what way to go through yet.
True. We'll just have to wait and find out when it does eventually happen. So you guys better get ready for that match because we will all be seated. Because I personally need this match to happen sooner or later. So I'd also love to help build up this potential rivalry. So with
Yeah.
that being said, do you have a message you'd like to send to Mickie James right now?
Okay, put me on the spot. Okay, love
Of
it.
course.
Yeah, so Mickie, if you're watching this, I want you to know that I love you from the bottom of my heart.
She does.
You are the reason that I am here today. You inspired me to become a better wrestler, a better woman. And I want to prove to you and everyone else that I am good enough to go in there with the greatest women wrestler of all time, you, and put on one hell of a match and make you put up a fight because I am ready, sis. I've been training so hard and this is my moment. So, legend versus the future, bring it.
Bring it. All right. Big words from the challenger. And I'm really excited to see when and where that does happen. Because when it does happen, I will be seated, looking it up on the internet. Hopefully it's available. But sis, you better send me
Yes,
some pictures when it does happen. Absolutely.
yes.
All right. But with that said, thank you so much, Ashley, for joining me today for this super quick chat, catch up as well. Because I know it's been a
Thank
while
you.
since we've talked. It's been lovely speaking with you. But before I do let you go, do you want to plug in your socials and other projects that you want to talk about in the future?
Yes, so all of my socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are at Ashley Vega UK. And if you want to keep up to date with YouTube, Ashley Vega on YouTube, have a look. I will be uploading soon. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
All right, so go check her stuff out, you guys, and be sure to support her everywhere you can find her because we love supporting local wrestlers. And hopefully, your dream does come true. Mickie James better watch out because
Yes,
the
yes.
tables have turned. You are no longer the Mickie to the Trish. You are now the Mickie of the storyline.
Yes,
For sure.
period.
Absolutely. So for the latest news on Turning Heel with Troy Gonzales, be sure to follow the show on Twitter at Turning Heel Pod and on all platforms where you can listen to your favorite podcasts by checking out my link tree. That's linktr.ee/Turning Heel Podcast. So thank you for all your support, Contrabidas, and see you in the next episode. Ashley, once again, thank you for joining me today and have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.